Y'all, it's Kika, your lifestyle blogger, and I have something I need to show you. So I went to Dollar Tree, and you can find the most incredible little treasures at Dollar Tree if you pay attention and you look. Now, not every Dollar Tree has it, so you may need to look around a little bit, but I want to show you something. So you see my focal wall right there, and you notice that I did this pattern for the curtain as well as the accent pillows. Well, today I went to Dollar Tree and I found this. Matches perfectly. Now I know you're thinking, what is she going to do with this? This is usually paper that goes inside your cabinets, but I am going to use this. It's the peel and stick kind, and I'm going to cover my what? Light covers. Yes. So, instead of buying a whole new light cover, I'm going to use this and cover my light fixtures. And I'm going to do it for all the lights in the house that you can actually see, just to give a little bit of cohesiveness to the space. So keep watching. More video footage coming up. Okay, you guys, I just want to point out one thing. Light covers can be very expensive, especially if you want an exclusive design light cover, as I have in my home using this floral black and white design. So I want to show you how expensive light covers can be, and they can really add up because you do have light covers throughout your entire home. So here's an example of a floral light cover, and here's another example of a floral light cover. And as you can see, $13 to $16 can get really expensive for one light cover, especially if you have 20 light covers that you need to buy. So using contact paper in the way that I have to get the same effect really works. I have 3 of these rolls, and I'm going to first start with the most visible light socket. So I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do that one, and then I have one more in this room. Well, actually 2 more that's very visible, and it's on this wall. It's this one here, and then that one there. So those are the only ones that I'm going to do in this room, and then I'm going to move into the living room. So keep watching. Guys, so I'm doing the other side, and this can get a little tricky. So what you want to do is you want to cut out a nice square and allow enough length to go over, because you're going to want to make sure it's perfect. So you want to make sure you have enough slack on either side. But the first thing you're going to do is, once you peel off the back end and you have the sticker part, you're going to want to make sure you make a little hole in the middle for the actual light switch. And you're actually going to want to put that on first before you start smoothing out the edges and everything else. So I'm going to do that now. And as you can see, I'm trying to smooth out these edges, but you want to make sure everything over the switch part is nice and snug. So that's what you're kind of doing right now. And you know, with the patterns in this, it won't look too bad if you do have some lines and wrinkles. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world, but you do want it as neat as possible. I mean, because we are using, you know, Dollar Tree material here. So the better you can do it, the better it'll turn out. And it won't look so chintzy. I like using that word chintzy when it comes to interior design, because you don't want things too matchy-matchy. You don't want things to look like a hotel, you know, but you also want to personalize it, but you want to make sure you're personalizing it's done right. Okay, so got that part.
As you can see, that's the bottom. And now we're just gonna go around here. We're gonna make sure this is snug on the side here, like that. You can do all this with your fingers. That's what you got fingers for. Go ahead and use them. All right, so now we're on this side. You see, I got a lot of slack over here, but I just want to make sure this is right. So I am just doing this, honey. This line right here is really irritating me. So I'm gonna see if I can get that out, which I did. Let's see what I can do. Okay. All right, look at that. Look at that. I smoothed it on out. Now we got a little bubble here, and there's something behind that, so that's not gonna change. So that's fine. We're just gonna make sure this is good. Flatten that all out. Like so. Ooh, I guess I could remove this thing, huh? But whatever. My sister is really great with, she takes her time. It takes her a long time, but she takes her time. She's a perfectionist. Some of you are perfectionists and you're gonna wanna do this way better than me. I'm just giving you the idea. How you do it is totally up to you. I am in no way a perfectionist. I like things imperfect. I know that sounds crazy, but I always feel like when things are imperfect, they look good. Like, you know how sometimes things happen by accident and you be like, wow, that really happened by accident? How did that get there? Well, to me, those are the best design features because it's like, I feel like those things were meant to be. And so, speaking of meant to be, when I walked in the Dollar Tree yesterday and I seen this wallpaper, or I should say contact paper, because it goes in the inside of your cabinets. But I was like, you know what? I don't know right now. I don't have the capacity in my brain to figure out why this is here and why this matches what I got at home. But since it's $1 and there's only 5 up here, I'm going to grab 3 of these rolls and I'm going to leave 2 and I'm going to figure it out later. And then when I got home, I figured it out. So here we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to leave this like this for a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on this one down here. And then I'll remove it both together so you guys can see. I cut out a nice little square like that. And I know this is big enough because it's going to allow me to have slack on all 4 sides. And that's what you want. And then you can kind of move it and play with it and see how you want it actually on this light switch. That's what I'm going to do. So here's the light switch. We can do like this. So what I'm going to recommend, because I have scissors and we have the lights on and we know that there's little plug things in here, I'm going to recommend using your fingers as like, and just poke little holes as a guide. And then you can just finish that up with your fingers. Don't stick your scissors in here, please. Be like the kid, stick something in the light switch and get electrocuted. You don't want to do that. So be very careful messing around with these light switches, but I'm going to go ahead and cover this one up. I remove the backing. I put this over so it's sticking, y'all. And now what you're going to do is go around your sides like I did with the other one. And you're just going to smooth this out and make sure everything is nice and snug. So go ahead and just do that first. Get all the bubbles out. Make sure everything's nice and snug. And then I'll show you what to do where the plug part goes in. So keep watching. Okay, y'all, so it's nice and snug, both, and it is ready. So, scissors, gotta have that. So I don't know what yours looks like, but go ahead and get your scissors. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna go around here, and you're just gonna cut all the way down on each slide. So keep watching. Yeah, so I cut it off around the edges. But what happens when you do that, you know, you mess up the paint a little bit, so you will have to go back and do your touch-ups. But just ensure that all this is just feeling snug. And the reason why the paint's messed up is because, of course, I use scissors to make sure I get a clean cut around the light switch. And so, you know, that's what happens. It's all good though. Just make sure everything is nice and snug and looks good. And you can go back around and clean that up after, but go up and down and clean that up after. Okay, so that's that. Now, with this one, I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the scissors just around the perimeter. We're not touching the inside because you know we're dealing with electricity here. But if you have a cell phone plug, you can use this. You just find where your holes are, right here. There you go. That's done. And this one, find where them holes are. Up here. There we go. There's that one. You might have to do it a few times, but at least you're safe because this goes in the plug. So I'm going to do this one. Keep watching. I got to do some scrubbing to these side tables. My boyfriend is a smoker, and so there is ashes and everything all over these white side tables. I just hate it. So I had thought at first I was going to paint them gray, but I decided against that because of the contact paper that I got, and I really, really want to use that in this design, so I'm going to incorporate that. So let me just show you. I'm going to take a quick intermission and get me some coffee, and then I discovered I didn't have any creamer, but that's okay. I just made some instant coffee. I needed something to wake me up this morning, but I'm going to keep plugging along and showing you what we're going to do with this Dollar Tree contact paper. It is wonderful. So the light switches in the bedroom is done. The next thing I'm going to be working on is my side tables. So my side tables were all white. It just did not work. It was messy and just icky and just so gross. So I'm going to show you some before and after pictures because I'm a little too embarrassed to do a little video of that. But what I'm going to do is use the contact paper for the top part of the table. And, you know, depending on how things look, I may put it in some other locations. Not too sure about that yet, but definitely for the top part of the side tables. And then I'm painting the side tables actually all black. So this is going to give it a little bit of a different twist to the look, but it's all in keeping with the colors that we are using throughout the home. So keep watching. More video footage coming up. This is where I am so far with repainting this cubby. So you see how the black, it looks so much better. So I still have to do this side and the other side. And then I'm going to add... I want to take a brief intermission just to talk to you just a little bit about design on a budget and most importantly, your paint. So paint is going to go a long way when you are trying to design on a budget. I look for paint and then I look for wallpaper. Now, with what I found with wallpapers, you have to be very careful because if you do go for the very inexpensive kind, it could backfire on you and it will not peel and stick. I always do the peel and stick wallpaper because, as you know, the old way of putting wallpaper up can be a pain unless you're planning to keep it there for a very long time. And if you're anything like me, every 5 years or so, I like to just switch and change things up. So I just want to ensure that what I have is temporary, but also very well put up and designed so that it stays. And I don't have to keep redoing it. So back to the paint. Paint is going to go a long way. So you don't want to just go to Walmart or, you know, a hardware store and just pick the regular paint off the shelf. You're really going to want to take your time and really look through the paint colors. Now, for me, I found that the paint that works best is the paint that has both the paint color and the primer in it. That works significantly well. And to be perfectly honest with you, Behr paint, B-E-H-R, where it's found is at Home Depot.
There may be other locations too, but I find in mine at Home Depot. That is significantly, by far, the best paint. Now, I don't always go glossy because that's just too shiny. I do a semi-gloss. That works very, very well because it has the nice undertones and it's not too glossy, or when the light shines on it, it doesn't glisten and glimmer too much. You want to be able to continue to move forward with your paint job and not have that overpower the room, but also just work subtly and well with your design scheme. So the reason why I say that is because as I paint these cubbies and as the paint dries, it is so perfect. It's a semi-gloss. So I am doing actually 2 of the cubbies. I'm painting them both black, and then I'm going to do that floral top on top of them. But what I like about this is in my interior design space, I don't like things to be too matchy-matchy, which means my 2 side tables are exactly the same. I want them to be different because myself and my boyfriend, we function differently. So he has the side table with all the little cubbies because he tends to collect a lot of things, and having those little cubbies work very, very well for him. Me, I just need something to be able to put my drinks on or set. I use the top part of my side table more than I do the interlocking parts, but the interlocking parts are somewhat okay. So if I have something, it's better than nothing, but I'm not usually utilizing like cubbies or drawers or anything that's next to the bed. I usually use the top part usually to set my glass or have some coasters and just different things like that. So we do have 2 different side tables. Now they work well because I'm going to paint them and design them the exact same, even though they're different, but they are the same height. So I'm going to order some beautiful lampshades, and the lampshades match the headboard of the bed. So I want to show you that right here. And so with those matching lampshades on top of each of the side tables that are painted all the same color, but the side tables are different, adds a whimsical design. Now, I know we talked about the seating space over here and that I was going to do 2 chairs, a seating space for my boyfriend and I. But what I decided is this space in between the bed is a little too close for comfort. So instead, I'm going to have my side table at the end, and I'm going to put 1 chair right here. Because if I need to create a conversation area, the bed is right here. So I can sit there, he can sit there, or he can sit there, and I can sit here. And we still have a conversation area, and the side table is there. So it still works. So designing your room so that it's functional is another key point to designing on a budget. And I want to show you something else that I'm going to incorporate in this design just to kind of help with his clutter on that side of the room. So keep watching. I want to get to the other part of this design theme. So while my paint dries on my side tables, I need to figure out how I'm going to incorporate these. So these are another thing that I bought at Dollar Tree, and they are actually baskets. And so this is going to also incorporate into this design scheme, as well as give us another way to store all of our junk instead of having his junk piled on a table like that. So we want to be able to incorporate this into the design and allow from extra space to put our junk so that it will not look as messy in our design space. So keep watching. More video footage coming up.
All right, guys, so I bought these baskets from Dollar Tree, and they're the collapsible type of baskets. You can get them in all variation of colors. You just put them together like so. And then what you can do with these baskets are actually endless. So what I am considering is possibly adding these baskets over my bed, like maybe stuck to my wall like so that way we have some extra storage containers and just stuff to put junk. So I think that is a very key thing to do. So I'm considering that. So I do have different sizes of baskets, so I'm really not sure if I want to use the big ones over the bed or these small ones. Seems like the small ones would work better. Guys, so we are repurposing. I found these I used last year for my greenhouse here to string these lights up on each row. However, now that I have gardened for a year, I found another purpose for this and how I'm going to redesign this space. So I'm going to use these for something else. So I've already collected 3, so that's 4. I'm going to see if I can grab 2 more of these, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. All right, guys, so back to the basket. I think I'm going to use these chains here to actually hang these baskets from my wall. It looks like they are in keeping with the color. We got a little bit of metal here. All right, so here's the finishing touch with them hanging on the wall above the bed. So I'm going to put one is on my boyfriend's side of the bed, and I'm going to go ahead and add another one to my side. So I incorporated these hanging baskets into the design. So I showed you what we used to hang them for each side. I just thought this looked a little bit more elegant, especially with the cowboy hats up there. It just gave it a little bit of a focal point. I didn't want it to be too busy, but these baskets are where we could hide the clutter. So like pens, paper, things like that, these will work. And you won't be able to see them at all. Guys, so now we need to do away with the additional clutter. So I am gonna devote all of the rest of these baskets to my boyfriend's side of the room. As you can see, his side and my side. So my side is just the design stuff, so I'll get that up. That tray belongs on the bed. I usually set that to the side when we're utilizing the bed for whatever reason, but we gotta get this side together here. So I'm feeling like these baskets are gonna work perfectly, and let me show you what I'm gonna do with them. Keep watching. One basket left over, and I think I may just use this one for my side. Top is on. So my recommendation, don't just leave it like this. You're gonna wanna go back through, make sure these are sealed, and then go ahead and apply some more black paint around the edges. Because if you go ahead and apply the black paint around the edges, it'll take care of any imperfections. And then this will be ready to move into its new